Hey everybody, welcome back to another edition of the Corona Diaries, edition like 1,570,000. I don't know. I can't keep count anymore. I'm just going to keep doing these videos from the office because, I can. So, I want to talk about one thing today, and I wouldn't say it's super touchy. It's more to me an HR operational, leadership operational kind of issue, but it goes around the Juneteenth holiday that a lot of companies came out and said, "Oh, we're gonna now celebrate Juneteenth," which I agree. I think it's awesome. We should celebrate every holiday that we want. So had a friend go. So should we? An HR friend go. So should we celebrate MLK, or should we celebrate Juneteenth, or should we celebrate both, or should we celebrate neither? In terms of celebration, and we're talking about pay, right? Time off, not necessarily actually, espousing to celebrate that actual holiday. So we started talking about federal holidays. So if we talk about the federal holidays, these are the official federal employee holidays they get paid for. I guess New Year's Day, Martin Luther King's birthday, President's Day, which is also Washington's birthday, Memorial Day, Independence Day, Labor Day, Columbus Day, which I don't know, is that really a holiday? I think just male people get that off. Veterans Day, Thanksgiving Day, and Christmas Day. I think that's 10. So Juneteenth then would be the 11th. The question is, do we get rid of Columbus Day? Obviously, we're getting rid of the statues, so they maybe that replaces. And then but operationally, we start to really dig into, well, how many paid holidays should somebody get, and how much paid overall time off should they get? And it really kind of begs the question, because I don't think it's really our job in HR to say, hey, here as an employee, what you should actually celebrate, and here's what you should. And I have a great kind of story example. So I actually went to work in HR for Applebee's International back in the day. I started the week of Thanksgiving. So I had that weird little 3-day week, right, that I had to go, and then I had to fly home, or something like that. So the timing of it was, that. Also, my family celebrates Hanukkah, and it just happened to be Hanukkah started super early that year. So like the very next week, like the last few days of November, first few days of December was actually the start of Hanukkah. And my boss had found out that I would celebrate Hanukkah, and literally called like in a panic, like, oh my gosh, like we didn't even know. And they were super inclusive, so they were trying to do the right thing. And she's like, hey, if you need to take off the next 7 days to celebrate Hanukkah, that you just go ahead and do that. And I just kind of laughed. I'm like, no one takes off 8 nights for Hanukkah. That's not, or 7 days in between. Like, we just don't. That's not how you celebrate Hanukkah. But again, it was some of those things, that how we react when somebody celebrates and worships or does whatever differently than what we do, and what we want to try to do the right thing inclusively, that we just kind of go right ditch, left ditch, right? Like, oh well, we get Christmas Day off and Christmas Eve, and so if you don't celebrate that, then you should celebrate this. But I'm like, well, but then do I still take Christmas off since the rest of the company does? Like, this whole thing is just kind of weird, and these are real like conversations that are happening in conference rooms around the country right now about holidays. And operationally, what do we do for our employees? We want to do the right thing. At the same time, not everybody is going to want to celebrate Juneteenth in our organizations, or maybe they will. And then how do you do it for those? Or maybe someone doesn't want to celebrate Christmas, but they celebrate Hanukkah. So then what do we do there? But the vast majority of our employees celebrate Christmas, and then maybe we are an organization where like Facebook, like 3.8% of their employees are black. Do the other 96 percent want to celebrate Juneteenth? Maybe a lot of them would, maybe a lot of them won't. It's a really difficult kind of thing to navigate. And so I think we're getting to a point where we just go, look, here is your bucket of PTO for the year, right? Your vacations, your holidays, your sick time, your whatever. And even with COVID, I think we have to pull sick time out of it and just say, that's totally different. Like, if you're sick, don't come to work. We're going to pay you. But for holidays, I think, do we go, hey, it's 10 holidays, and you celebrate the 10 holidays that you want to celebrate, and hey, we're not going to question it. I don't know. I would love to get your comments down in the feedback of, what do you think Do we go? I mean, traditionally in America, we went with a federal holidays kind of schedule, and then we would add things in, like, oh, we also give the day after Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, you get that off, and in Canada it's Boxing Day, and then so we always add in like other days. So I have a lot of questions, right? Like, one, should we be giving off Juneteenth and MLK Day? I don't have a problem with it at all. I'm like, yeah, if you want to celebrate those, good for you. Let's do it. Are they paid? Sure. Some people are going, like Amazon was like, if you want to celebrate Juneteenth, go ahead. It's unpaid. Uh, I mean, but there's a lot of employers out there too that are like, hey, we definitely celebrate MLK Day, but we don't give it as a paid holiday because a lot of schools don't either because they want to educate. It, it's endless, the conversations around. We think it's just one of these stupid, easy little things about HR and about paid time off and paid holidays. And why is this difficult? It's difficult because if you have 100 people in your company, there's 100 different opinions on what should be paid and shouldn't be paid and what time should be taken off. So, what do you think? Let me know. How many paid holidays a year should a normal employee, full-time salaried employee get off? What does that look like? How much paid time off total? Like, I just don't think there's a perfect thing for the thing. Every organization, every culture is going to have to do their own thing. What I'll say is, from everything I've read and from the passion I've seen, Juneteenth obviously is an important holiday, and I think we have to really go out there and seriously have these conversations around, do we add this into our holiday schedule? And then, is it paid? Is it unpaid? How do we celebrate that? And then you have to look at some of those others. I take a look at that federal calendar right now, and it seems dated, right? With Washington's birthday and Columbus Day and some of that stuff. But those are traditional holidays, and now we're adding in some new holidays. And do we take ones away, or do we just add? I think a lot of organizations struggle with the adding just because of the cost factor. So that's what I have today. Hit me in the comments. I would love to hear how the conversations are going in your organization about this. And I will check you guys out next week.